And we're live. Quarter Life Critics.
Wow.
Once again, we're back to your favorite bi-weekly-ish TV and film podcast where we review whether
entertainment
podcast where we
Video
review the
podcast.
best TV and film the world has to offer. And I'm sitting here today with my best friends, Grant. What's going on, Grant?
What's going on, Quinn?
Not a lot. And my best friend, Patrick. What's going on, Pat?
Good evening, Quinn.
Good evening.
It's a good night.
Now, every week, every time, every bi-weekly, we have a director to guide us through an intellectual discussion. You know, without the director, we'd just be lost. We'd just, it's three dudes sitting around talking about nothing. But
we wouldn't have been able to do that ever. That would have been a bad idea.
A mess
from the start.
Imagine if you had two people too. It's just nonsense. There's nothing going on there. So we need some structure. We're gonna have a director, and I'm just gonna throw it to our director this week, which is none other than the Ford man himself, Mr. Farmer.
Hey guys, welcome to the podcast. How's everyone doing?
Doing pretty swell.
I hope you're doing better than you see that plant in the background?
Oh, yeah. If you're watching live on YouTube.
It's fallen over just because it's sad.
It looks like you karate chopped.
Did you forget to water it, Grant?
This soil was a little dry, but now it's got water. We'll see if he bounces back.
It's going to come back to life?
Yeah, they do.
I guess it depends how
it's still green.
You see how much green that is? Yeah.
It's got green. When did you notice it? Did you see it slowly droop and droop and droop, or was it a dramatic turn for the worse?
Dramatic turn for the worse.
I hate when that happens.
Damn, dude.
Some neglect, But yeah, no, I've been doing good. Everyone been enjoying themselves.
Yeah, I'm enjoying myself. Tomorrow is Groundhog Day, one of my favorite underrated holidays. So,
will you watch the movie, Quinn?
I will not watch it tomorrow or probably this weekend, but I'll think about it. I'll think about my life and how appreciative I should be.
That's nice. That's very sentimental.
Do you want to watch it though? You're going to watch it in the near future?
No. What I will do is I'll look at Puxatawny Phil and see what he says about this winter, because it's been awfully cold here in Los Angeles. It rained a few times, so if he predicts 6 more weeks of winter, then it's gonna be tough here. That's all.
6 weeks is a long time.
Yeah,
that's a big difference.
It's not gonna be hard for you, Quinn. You're fine.
Why is that, sir?
What is it? 60? Like, what's the coldest? You're not getting snowed in.
Like in the 50s?
Oh my goodness.
At night?
At night when there's no sun?
Yeah, it's rough. Well, today we are reviewing The Rescue, which is we're kind of continuing the documentary theme. I just really want to follow or try to follow in Quinn's footsteps, and it's I'm just doing my best, but you can't really live up to Quinn, and his standards. He puts the best product out there, and so
My Fire of Love direction?
Yeah, your Fire of Love. So
well, you already missed the mark once. We failed last time. If you remember, if you're a hardcore fan, we tried to we had a plan A. Gonna watch a certain documentary. You want to explain that, Grant?
Yeah, so I actually, it's a documentary that I wanted to watch, and I thought maybe do it for the podcast. I guess I didn't do my fair research before the podcast, but Quinn is known. He's kind of like the Google master. If something's on the web, Quinn will find it. So I now
he's like a private investigator.
Yeah,
or the internet.
So yeah, exactly. He scours the web and gets results.
Most
times. Yeah. So I was listening to a podcast by one of my favorite podcasts with Sam Harris, and he had someone on who she was a a documentarian, and she was in, she asked and was invited. I don't know if she was invited, but she asked for to go to this. They call it jihad rehab in Saudi Arabia, and um, a camp, or really a facility for reform terrorists, is trying to reform terrorists. And no American has gotten any sort of access close to the access she was able to get there. And um, it from the starts, they only would give her access if she was fully honest with the people she was interviewing from the start. And they knew exactly her intentions from the start. And pretty much every single person she talked to there wanted nothing to fucking do with her. She speaks Arabic because she used to live in Yemen. Um, a little background, right? After 9/11, she decided to go to the Middle East because she was a firefighter during 9/11. And she was just like, how did this happen? She wanted to learn more. So she literally went and took a one-way flight to the Middle East post 9/11. Kind of crazy. Learned Arabic though. And when she was in Yemen and taught firefighting. And so then when she was talking and trying to make this documentary in this facility, the only people who would talk to her were these people from Yemen, because she had the Yemen dialect, and they were interested, and they're like, what is this? And she ended up, finding 3 people who were completely voluntary and talked to her about their times. They just came out of Guantanamo Bay, which is the U.S. And I don't think it was like the worst time of their life. They're being tortured, and they said every day is worse than the day before. And so it sounds like and you gotta get, when are you gonna hear that, right? Like, that's a really unique, interesting perspective. So, to say the least, I wanted to watch that film, but it was canceled from Sundance by many people who have never seen the film, and said they don't need to see the film to know that a white woman talking about Muslims shouldn't make, it's not her place, which I think is stupid. So needless to say, we couldn't find the film.
it was unlisted.
Unlisted.
Maybe it's in the hands of a few private individuals, but I think the idea from my research was that, it may have some sort of revival, some sort of emergence, like your little plant there, Grant. There may be enough water that will bring it back to life. So I don't think they're going the route of, like, a lot of money's been invested in it. So they don't, sure, she could just post it on a website or something, and that would be open to the public, and, let the people decide. But I think there's a financial incentive where, you got to recoup some of these losses. Yeah, like, there's no reason we shouldn't be able to make money off of this like everyone else. I mean, it's very difficult and time consuming and expensive to make a documentary. So we're close. It may
close.
happen.
They were shown at maybe 2, definitely 1 film festival in New Zealand, who watched the film themselves and said, this film is good. We approve this, even though they had the same, essentially blackmail. These festival organizers were being pressured to take it down or not have it shown. But anyway, so we pivoted. We made a pivot, as we do in this agile world.
Failed fast.
Fail fast, fail hard. So our plan B, but not in any sort of lesser quality, is another documentary, The Rescue, 2021. I actually, one of the reasons I picked this, just one small reason, was I bought a month of Disney Plus for Fire of Love, so I needed another.
You had to recoup your money as well. Yeah,
but it's actually I wanted to watch this film a while ago, because I got into a rabbit hole of like spelunking, like cave diving is really interesting, and I've read about horror stories, and I never heard really much about this, and I don't remember. I know I watched it with my girlfriend, and she says she remembers this being like national news, and I mean it was 2018, so I definitely was, I guess I just don't remember.
So you missed this.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, maybe not in detail. I don't really
Damn.
remember. Yeah.
Yeah, real quick. I mean, I'm assuming Pat missed it as well. I wouldn't expect.
I've seen this movie before too.
Okay, but I mean, when it was going on in 2018, you didn't hear
I vaguely
events.
remember something.
Oh man, guys,
Yeah.
I don't know. I
You
follow
were
a bit.
invested.
I remember it very. It stood out as a story that, if you asked me before we watched the film, like how did they get the kids out, and a lot of the details that we'll talk about, I would have no idea. But I remembered national news. Everyone was involved. I remember like they found the kids and they just couldn't get them out. Like it was so difficult to get them out, and I was like, how the hell does that happen? Like, if you can get to them, like, can't you just get them out?
Pull them out.
So it was definitely, I remember, national news at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a crazy story. It's a really well done documentary. Just for a quick synopsis, it's a 2021 documentary film, directed and produced by Elizabeth Chai Varsa Heldy and Jimmy Chin. Jimmy Chin, I think, is pretty famous for other documentaries he's done. People tend to make fun of his cheesy music, which we might have seen at the end of for the credits here. But it follows the Tom Luang Cave Rescue, which was a 2018 mission that saved a junior association football team from an underwater cave. It was nominated for many awards, not an Oscar, which I find that hard to believe. I don't really, without getting too much into it, I would imagine this should have made the top 4 or 5 documentaries of the year. It did not, according to the Oscars, but it was nominated and won both People's Choice Awards for documentaries and the Best Documentary Feature at the Toronto International Film Festival, which I thought was cool. On IMDb, it's 8.4 out of 10 with 17,000 votes. I could not find a budget for this film, but the box office was 1.2 mil.
So, do you happen to know the other films in that list that were documentary?
I do not have them.
We watched it. My Octopus Teacher.
Oh.
The Mole Agent Collective, Crip Camp, sounds like Jihad Reform, and Time.
Okay,
those are the 2021 Oscar noms.
Well, I will say my personal, without, diving too much, I think this film was better than My Octopus Teacher, which I did enjoy, but same caliber. So maybe the other ones were just really, really better.
One thing
caliber.
Yeah, one thing that just comes to mind, we were just talking earlier about this being like national news, is that it's kind of hard to separate, at least for me, where the excellence in the documentary lies versus the actual story. Mm-hmm. Like the events that occurred in real life are spectacular. I mean, it's incredible. Scene after scene, I'm like, oh, they had to do what? Oh, like, what? Yeah. Oh my God. So it's a delicate situation, but it's hard to get away from, like, if you collected a bunch of interviews, you made a shitty documentary, you'd still be like, this is an incredible story.
Plus, like, was Jimmy Chin there? Like, is this his footage?
No. So a lot of the footage we're seeing too is recreated with the participating real life, the people who were there, but the scenes were recreated most of the time. I mean, and we'll see some clips soon where, at least with mine, and I think it's evident, so yeah, I don't think, but I don't know, was he interviewing and on site, during the outside? I don't
Probably
know.
not.
I don't think
but
so.
It was, if you're like I don't know. It's like
I
a
know.
crazy event that's happening, and like this is what he does is like tries to find crazy acts of humanity. Like, do you just like I'm going to Vietnam too? You know, like I gotta get some
Yeah,
footage.
you see, you would think most people there are not documentarians; they're probably reporters, and I don't know how that works. If you want to make a documentary on a big event, you have to source all this footage, right?
So yeah, that was the biggest thing that I read with this film is like there was all that originally there was no footage of inside the cave. So they're dealing with a situation where you have some news reports and you have some people on the ground outside, but there's nobody inside the cave. And the two of them are actually married. I don't know if you knew that.
I did know that.
So
It's cute.
I watched some video where they said like this was kind of during COVID, where they kept asking for this footage from like the Thai Navy SEALs, and they wouldn't give it to them. Obviously, I mean it's like this is our footage. Like we filmed shit, and then the woman, I don't, what's her name? Elizabeth. She went.
What's their last name?
Basarhelhi, something like that.
There you go. Good job.
Yes.
She actually, like, as a last ditch effort, she went to Thailand to like plead to say, hey, we would really, really like this footage. And they gave it to her. They had like 80 or 90 hours of footage that the Navy SEALs took from inside the cave. And I think it was even that footage that, they have like 2 scenes of like them seeing the kids, basically. I think that came from it too as well, because it sounded like they said there was nothing in the cave. We really needed something from in the cave, and they got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, usually if you've like I've seen Free Solo and I've seen Maru and 14 Peaks from like Jimmy Chin and Elizabeth, and usually they're like on like doing the shit with the people. So I feel like that's like it like adds a cool element of like crazy stuff's happening and it's being observed in real time. It's like primary evidence versus I don't know. It's just kind of cool.
Yeah, I can see how that's pretty cool.
We will probably get into it with some of the clips, but yeah, Grant, it was a little jarring with some of the transitions, because I mean you're going from a real life scene to a recreated scene, and they're both kind of I mean it's modern times, it's high production, high HD, and it kind of throws you off. It just makes you think. I mean, it does a good job. It makes you think they're in the cave, but you're like, this isn't real. Like, there's no way they could have filmed this. Like,
I kind of liked it at some points because it's like I've never been cave diving.
Yeah.
So it's like, and like the music that goes with it, it's just kind of like fills you with dread. I don't know. It just feels like very, I don't know, very interesting.
I think you need it.
Like
I mean,
tension. It's nice.
I think you need it for, I mean, this kind of work, because
yeah, and it was almost, I don't know, there's so much talking and story to tell that you kind of needed footage and stuff to go with it, right?
Yeah, the crux of the film is this cave is so difficult that we can't get people in and out easily. And you go, well, if we don't have any the video from inside the cave, well, you tell the audience, hey, it was really, really difficult. Believe us, it was difficult.
Yeah. I liked the graphics and stuff they had, to depict the cave. But, let's get into this a little bit. So let's pull up some clips. I think we're going to pull up Quinn's first. Let me share my screen here.
Sure. Yeah, so the one I selected was the time when the 2 divers they first meet the children for the first time. So they're swimming and they finally find them, and you can play it.
Right.
You can see. So this is a recreated scene. I'm like right here as well. I don't know why those lights were flashing. But you have them pull out the camera, and then at this point it switches. I think this is real footage.
This is real. Yeah.
where they kind of go on for about, a minute or so of him saying, trying to talk to them. I think only one of the boys knew like basic English, so that was difficult for them
Yeah.
to do. Another funny part about this scene was like they're like what day or something, and like the UK guys, they don't really get it. They're like, yeah, we'll be back like Monday or something. And you're like, dude, they have no idea like what
Oh,
the
yeah.
day is. Like they're trapped in a fucking cave.
They're like, oh, we'll be going. See you
Oh,
now. It was
later.
good to bump into
Yeah.
you here. How weird.
What day did he say we can leave? They did I like the motivational speech that he gave the kids was mostly good. There's a couple weird parts, but he's like, "Hello, Chinese. Hello, Philippines." They're like, "Hello."
Oh, yeah.
It was like a foreign language class where like you can get the first part of it, but then you like kind of just mumble the rest.
Yeah, no, that's a good scene, and that's just like you know, it's like the first scene of hope, and just like seeing that footage, like those kids. I mean, they're just sitting there. How many days had passed? Like 10, I
10
think.
days,
Yeah,
Something
10
around
days
there
at
for
that
that
point.
one.
So like,
which is
dude,
insane.
yeah, you probably felt like, I don't know, long ass time. I mean, you would have lost hope, right? Like, I don't know if they knew how far they were in the cave too. You know?
I mean, you have no idea of time, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Just dark.
it's just dark, dirty.
I don't know if you over or underestimate time in a cave,
Actually, the more I think about it, like that guy kind
Depends
of
on
had
the
the
person.
light there. I mean, is it pitch black?
No, they had a flashlight, I believe.
Yeah, they were flashing something. That was the flashing
Yeah.
part.
Okay, so damn, like that was just lucky that they had a flashlight. Probably because they're
Well, they're
going in
getting
the
in a cave.
caves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
They're not complete rookies, but they did fuck up a little bit this time.
Dude, I feel like if I was that coach, I'd feel so guilty, Thank God they all lived. Spoiler. um, no, but he's 25 and I'm sure he brought them so much like sanity too, because imagine it was like a bunch of 12-year-olds, they probably all die. But he's probably
Lord of
giving
the
them hope,
Flies.
keeping them calm. Yeah,
But also you're stuck with your fucking this is like what you do like after you got a normal job and you're like, yeah, I'm a soccer coach for a middle school like on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Then you're stuck in a cave with them for 10 days. That would also be torture.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like having to like settle them down and stuff. I'm sure it would be like feel nice, but that'd be so hard. That's like Guantanamo Bay stuff. Like we're just gonna give you 12-year-olds just in this locked room. Just handle them.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go, dudes.
I don't know if anyone was acting up. There was probably no sugar rushes or
They might try and eat one of the chubby ones or something.
Fortnite.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Pat, do you want to introduce your clip?
Yeah, so mine is kind of the first. So here I am, like every other person, like what's cave diving? Even though I'd already seen it before, it's still no one really. I don't know what I have in my mind before watching this movie, like what cave diving really means. So this is kind of the first time you're going into the water, and it's kind of describing like the heavy flow, and it just kind of gives you a visual of what kind of cave diving is.
And all these weird old men that love it and are
Mhm.
really good at it. I mean, they look really
Normal.
very normal. Yes. I mean, some people might be avid weird sports guys, and they might have some muscle, or like rock climbers. They don't look jacked, but they're really strong. But these guys are just very technically skilled.
Yeah. And I guess you just like you're as calm and you're steady and you just kind of go and explore.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just the music also adds a lot to this because you're like into the unknown, exploring. There's like a sense of dread too the whole time, like what's gonna happen. And they're saying it's like whitewater rapid currents, so you're like just being pushed along, and like
Oh yeah.
it's just makes you feel scared.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I've read the reason why I found this film initially was I was reading about just normal cave diving, right?
Hmm.
Without water and air, like you're not in an underwater cave system. You're just in a normal cave system. Um,
Hmm.
and I forgot how I went down this, but like it's it's kind of gripping, and it kind of is, at least for me, it's like it strikes a specific nerve. It's kind of interesting. It's like maybe primal or something to explore. And I don't know. For me, I don't think I could do it. I think I'd be too claustrophobic. But you see, like people in land, they're squeezing so much and contorting in a way that they might not be able to like leave, that same way they get in, and going forward versus backwards is insane. And yeah, just I think I forget the exact story, but I was reading about a guy who, they had the cave mapped out, and he accidentally went the wrong way. So he thought he was going one way, he was going to another, and he ended up pretty much upside down, and he could not move, and they had to go in to get him, and they built like a pulley system and everything, and it was working, and they were getting him out, and then the pulley system just broke, and he just went even deeper, and they like buried the cave and they closed it, but the dude like died. There's nothing, and that shit, it's fucking terrifying, right? And
Dude.
Yeah, you're in completely uncharted waters. You're literally just
Especially
going
when you
underground.
thought you had you're like, I'm saved, thank God.
Yeah.
I got the rope, and then you just
yeah. And at that point, he had been in, like 10, 12 hours, like upside down. So he was like in a lot of pain, and he was losing consciousness, and he was getting out. And then he broke.
Yeah, that guy
But
said he had to take out like 9 bodies.
Yeah.
Hmm.
He had to take out his own best friend.
That one's
No one's
Who was,
there.
like,
You don't have
all the
cameras
way
waiting
down
for you at the end there. It's just a lonely,
Yeah.
sad finish.
I don't know what
Yeah.
happens either. I mean, they with the one guy, the Sam guy, it was kind of obvious he died, was going to die in the film. Whenever they don't have the person talking and they're like going over a lot of stuff, you go, huh, I wonder why his interview isn't coming up. like, but it sounded, I don't know where the root of the issue is. Like, so like you said, Grant, like I don't know how long. Is it a time thing? They just really just run out of time. They spent too long trying to find their way, and they only have 4 hours of air, or does something malfunction with the equipment? I'm curious about those details, but it doesn't really matter. I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Yeah. Well, let me show you guys my clip.
Ooh, did you steal my clip this time?
What do you mean?
You've been known to steal my clips, steal my
No, you've been
ideas.
stealing my ideas.
Ah. Well,
This one.
that one has sound.
That's not allowed. So this was actually they went in to start exploring, and they found 4 people who had fallen asleep during the evacuation. They fell asleep during their shift while there was the emergency warning, and they got stuck in this cave. And this is a recreation, but the quote here was they took these guys, these workers who were of age. They couldn't, they were older, adult, and they couldn't speak English, but they understood the task at hand, right? Which was, we're going to go underwater, and you gotta not freaking freak the fuck out. Well, they all freaked the fuck out, and I just remember watching this. You're like, oh my god, like the intake, and they were saying one thing, and they might show it here, is like as soon as they knew there was air bubble, an air pocket above them, they would just go straight up, and just like get the air from. I think, did they show that already?
I
yeah,
know what
right
you're talking
here.
about.
Right,
Where
yeah,
they,
right
yeah,
here.
But
right,
they
yeah,
hit
right
their
here.
heads.
So he just like you see that, and this is a recreation, but I think it's a really good job. It's like, and they're just doing that constantly because they're freaking out. They're so disoriented. They're saying they're slamming their heads into a bunch of stuff. They had already been there for days, right?
Probably a week or so.
Yeah, and so they're like, freaking out. And then after that whole scene, you're like, holy fuck, they got him out. And it feels like, that had to have been like, 10, 20 minutes. And they're like, yeah, it was like 30 or 40 seconds underwater with them. You're like, oh my fucking God, what? And that was a really big point in the film where once they did find the kids, they're like, there is absolutely no way we're doing it without them being, they have to be sedated, and
well, the
if they
kids take
didn't run
3 hours. Like,
yeah, it's like 2.5 hours, right? So,
They're deep.
they're so deep, and without finding these guys and having that test, I don't know what would have happened,
Mm-hmm.
if they would have realized that, yeah, they had to sedate them. But the quote from here was it was like an underwater wrestling match, is what one of the divers said.
I think it was at that point I realized they were recreations because I was like looking at it. I was like, "What, dude? Did they just shove a camera and like in the migrant worker's like face while he's dying?" I was like, "Wait a second."
Yeah, it's a little bit
Because I was in it. I was in it for sure.
yeah.
Well, thanks
Yeah.
for sharing your clip, Grant.
Yeah, thank you guys for sharing your clips.
Anytime.
Let me pull
Any
up.
place.
Let's see.
You got a little surprise for us, Grant? What are you pulling?
Yeah, well, I had a homework assigned for you guys, so and I hope you guys came up with this, and maybe you can come up with it on the spot. But watching documentaries, I think it's interesting, and it's typically a new topic that you don't know much about. So, did you guys have any fun facts that you learned during the viewing of this film?
Yes, teacher, I did all of my homework. I'm ready to. I
Patrick,
did the
you
reading.
first.
What?
I didn't do a fun fact, but I have one on the spot. I had no idea that so many just consultants in the UK were such good divers. Literally, they're like, who can do this? We need the best people in the earth. And they're just like, yeah, let me call up the boys back at the pub. We'll be over here, no stop. It's just kind of madness. And also, does every Navy have Navy SEALs?
I don't know about that.
If you're near a body of water, maybe.
Why they're always
But
SEALs?
why the
though?
SEALs? Yeah.
If I was a badass fucking water, I'd be like the Navy Sharks or something.
The orcas.
Yeah.
Oh, are you saying?
Why are they calling the Navy SEAls? Yeah.
Isn't that just an acronym or something, or
It's like an English acronym, though.
right? I mean, I don't know if they just use that for the translation,
You might be right.
or as I don't know if what do they call it?
Well, you
not
said
yeah,
Sea,
said
air, and land. But that's
initialisms.
yeah. All right.
yeah, but you said you didn't know there was a bunch in the UK, and what's interesting, and you'll see in a segment a little bit here is I was researching, further facts about caves, and specifically in the US and Europe, there's a high reported amount of caves, but that doesn't mean like if you just look at numbers, you're like, oh, there's the most caves in Europe out of any continent. But that's just because there's so many more people exploring them than in, like, let's say Asia. Like China has like a disproportionately amount of caves that are reported because I don't think they have as many crazy cave divers there.
So disproportionately low. That's what you mean?
Disproportionately low.
Okay. Yeah, it's not a weekend hobby for a lot of them.
A lot of them.
That
It
Quinn,
yes,
you did
teacher.
your homework.
I did my homework. I actually thought of another one that I remembered reading. So I have a few. All of these are like Well, we kind of already touched upon the one that uh, it took hours to get to these kids. I mean, it wasn't, in my head, I remember national news thinking about it. I was like, oh, like maybe the kids fell off a cliff or something, and then they went up a little bit and then maybe down, and it was just very tight, and they couldn't get it to them. In my mind, I was like, this is a tight spot. I had no idea it took hours upon hours to traverse these caves. Um, that was one fact. The second one was one of the most unbelievable things. Like you get to the point where they have to sedate the kids, which is crazy in itself, but then they have to re-administer ketamine mid
Oh
dive
yeah.
rescue,
Hmm.
which is like mind blowing.
Are they going through ego death? Like, are they having a
A good
crazy
time?
trip?
I don't know. They're probably pretty malnourished and messed up.
That
So
shit's hitting.
Yeah. They
yeah,
popped
they're
a
on
Zanny
they're
and
on an
did some
empty
K.
stomach.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They're
Uh,
ultra lightweights now.
may not be good
Also
when
12.
they're also
Yeah.
12 and they're kind of coming to underwater, and maybe that you get like a glimpse of real life. And I, maybe
It's
for a
crazy
pro,
that it
yeah,
worked, you know. You just think about it, it's
it's
crazy
crazy
that it
that
worked.
I didn't know like it was a combination of there was one drug I didn't recognize, but I mean there was Xanax, ketamine, and then another thing that they used, and that was like it.
Just
Yeah.
big doses. Swear 'em
Uh,
up.
so you had that, and then the third thing, which is more about the movie itself, which I don't know if you guys knew, was it's kind of interesting the legality and the creation of things like this because actually like this film only had the rights they had the exclusive rights to like the divers stories, so that's why they were interviewing all the divers, all the people that were involved in the rescue, but they actually did not have any of the rights to the stories from the children, so that's why none of the children were involved or interviewed
With the
because
parents or
it's
anything.
or the parents, I think, yeah, because a separate, I think, docu-series that was made earlier about the same thing has those rights.
The
So
right
Mm.
to
that's a
those
lot of the
children's
criticisms.
words.
Yeah, we're like, damn, I really wish I got to see like what the children thought. What was going on there? Why didn't they get translators and talk to the children? Um, well,
Yeah.
it was because they didn't have the rights, which is like weird. How do you? I got the rights to your story, but
Story.
that's the way the
Is,
world works, I guess.
is that has that come out?
Yeah, that came out earlier, so I think it was a docu series, or I think it's on Netflix actually.
Ooh, Netflix versus Disney Plus.
So
Mm.
that is Thai K, or maybe it's definitely come out. So Thai
Film
Cave
and
Rescue
television.
2022 limited series released September 22nd,
Netflix.
2022.
There was
Netflix.
only production that was granted access to the members of the soccer team. Wow, so they swooped in.
Yeah, I don't
Wait,
know. There's a question there. Yeah, like were they simultaneously creating these things and they kind of outbid these other documentary filmmakers because they're Netflix?
why
They
is it called?
Netflixed it.
That's the worst name ever.
Yeah, it is. That's a mouthful.
What?
Thai Cave
A film.
Rescue?
Sorry, yeah.
Rescue. Thai Cave Rescue.
Thai Cavers. Thai Cave.
It's,
Thai.
it's just like it's rated pretty well too. It looks like
Yeah, that's the other Netflix bots. They send the bots out
it only has
real.
a 2,000 views. They massacred my boy. Well,
So those are my fun facts, teacher.
nice,
I hope we
good.
get an A.
Yeah, you got an A plus.
Yeah.
A little try hard, but it's okay.
Okay, you're
A
gonna
little
settle
bit of
down there,
teacher's
buddy.
pet.
I
Yeah.
said one fact.
Yeah, you came up with 3. Well, to continue the fun facts, again, I'm just trying to follow in Quinn's footsteps. I thought this was a good idea for documentary. So we're going to do cave trivia.
Oh my God.
Woo!
I'm nervous. I'm nervous.
All right, guys. This is going to be fun. The first, you guys ready? Are you ready?
Mhm. I'm ready.
I'm ready.
I have 1, 2.
I've got the belt over here.
5
You do.
questions in here.
Reigning
Yeah.
champion.
Got the
Mhm.
belt.
All right, 5
Okay.
questions.
What/where is the longest cave in the world?
Is this a country? What are you looking
A,
for? Oh,
Mammoth Mammoth Cave, Kentucky, USA. B, Jewel Cave, South Dakota, USA. C, Shuang Hedong. And I might need
Shuang Hedong.
here. I'm gonna put it in the chat because I don't know how else
Shuang
to say
Hedong.
it. It's Shuang. Don't look it up because it might.
I'm not
give
gonna look it
something
up.
away. Shuang.
Well, you just
Hedong.
sent me the pinyin. I need the characters. If you
Oh,
had
I don't
them.
have.
You need some
that's-
tones.
That's what it's
So
called.
maybe it's
Shuang
like I don't
Hedong
know. Shuang
in
Hedong.
China.
Shuang,
Shuang
well,
Hedong.
dong is cave. So
Um,
I don't know. Dong is cave, and I don't know what shuang and he. Maybe he could be river. He. Shuang he dong.
well, we'll look it up after. Or the Sistema Sac Acton, which is in Tulum, Mexico. So, just so you guys remember, Kentucky, South Dakota, China,
South Dakota.
Tulum.
I'm gonna go with.
Actually, Kentucky.
I'm gonna go with China, just because we.
Shuang Hedong.
The Shuang Hedong.
Patrick got the point. It is Mammoth Cave in
I was-
Kentucky.
Shut up.
But this question is a bonus point. You revealed a daily double. How long? How long is the Mammoth Cave in the world in miles?
13.
And to give you some reference,
Well,
oh no, never mind.
Uh,
That's
let's call it in miles. Maybe
I'll give you a
400 miles. That's my guess.
okay.
I said 13. That's a little light, but probably gonna be somewhere in between.
426 miles.
Damn.
Oh,
Which
nice.
is yeah, which is more than twice the second place. It is
What was second
the
place?
Shuang
Second
Hedong.
place was no, the Tulum, Mexico.
Okay.
That's underwater. I think that's where his best friend actually died. Was there.
So do I get a point for that?
Yep.
Yes.
It's 1-1.
Nice.
Look at that. So it's
Sweet,
1-1.
sweet.
Well, and this one's kind of a trivia, but it's like a double trivia. It's not just a guessing game. It's because you guys should know this because you watched the documentary. How long is the cave mentioned? The Tom Long Nang Non.
Was it 13 kilometers?
I'm gonna say, is this in miles or kilometers?
I have both.
They kept changing it.
50.
Yeah,
10 miles.
It's 10.3 kilometers, 6 miles.
Oh
So
my
I think Pat
No.
narrowly.
Wait. What did you say? 13 kilometers? And I said 10 miles?
Mhm.
That's like a
Yeah.
tie, basically, right?
Okay. I think
I didn't mean to tie with you. I was just
13.
thinking.
Wait, how you said 10 miles?
I said 10 miles.
Quinn was
16 kilometers.
3.6.
Ooh, so that means Quinn takes the gold.
No.
No.
Isn't it lower?
It's
Yeah,
10.3
and you were too
kilometers.
high.
So you're saying we're both too high, so nobody gets a point.
You're higher.
Oh,
Grant, you're the director here. Take charge.
Yeah, it's Patrick gets the point.
I
Anyways,
I see where we're going.
all right. The next question is how deep is the deepest cave in the world?
Oh, that's tough. What is it? Cave? Could it deep? If the cave starts underwater, is that not a cave?
It continue. Yeah, it's like the longest ones I'll give you are in Georgia, and they actually start like in a mountain and go down.
Damn.
So If you can imagine that, they're pretty deep. I think the one in the movie was 80 meters deep, so not that deep at all.
Wait.
So
Okay,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
the world's
In the movie, this is
deepest
the
cave.
world's how deep is the deepest cave in the world in meters?
I'll go 5,000 meters.
I'm gonna go 2,000 meters.
2212 meters, which is 1.37 miles. Okay, look, this is a
Tied
tie.
up.
It's tied
Quinn's good
up.
at these distance ones.
Yeah, he throws out
But he
the
can't figure out if 16 is over or under 13.
Tunnel vision.
So this one is what is the study and exploration of caves called? Stygology, grottoology, lithoology, or speleology?
Speleology.
Is this the last question?
Yeah.
All right. Well, there can't be a tie, so I'm gonna say liology, the third one.
Yeah, it's speleology, which I think you wanted to say.
I did, because
Which I was in the same boat as you.
Damn, trivia's.
And, yeah, Pat's just wins it by just going. He's
He
on the
says it
trigger,
first,
you know.
yeah.
He's faster.
Well, congratulations, Pat.
If you're not first, you're last. Shake 'em
You
bake.
keep the belt, man. Just keep it on you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, that was fun.
What
You
is
guys have
what is?
fun with
Do you
that?
know what those other ones are? Are those real things?
I don't think
so.
lideology is
I
anything.
think they're all fake. I can look them up for you though.
Lideology is an Instagram account with 1,500 followers that does art.
Psychology. No. First result that comes up is funtrivia.com that I stole this from.
Okay. All right. Well, that's,
Thank you, Grant. Good trivia.
Yeah,
I had fun.
thanks. All right. Well, to continue this, I'm going to take a step back and I'm going to pin you guys against each other.
Oh. But wait, there's more.
But wait, would you rather? So, you guys, we just watched one documentary this week, which was about some kind of weird cave divers. And last week we watched some fiery lovers. So I assigned Quinn as the cave divers and Pat as the volcano studying. So who would you
So
prefer or
killing
argue why one profession or life is better than the other?
Okay. You want to be Quinn? When
What?
you joined this studio, what's the
Yes.
first thing you said? I look a little pale. You know how you get a tan? Go into a volcano, you hike up to it. You know how you stay pale? Spend all your time underwater in a cave.
In a wetsuit.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to die if you get too close to the volcano, sir.
Cave diving is dangerous too, isn't it?
No,
Yeah,
I'm a
how many-
professional.
How many U.S. volcanologists died in the past however many years, Quinn? Not very many.
37.
Yeah, not very many. That guy alone buried 9 people.
Were they?
He didn't bury them.
Well,
He retrieved them.
he unburied
He
them.
dunked
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice and quiet in the water, and I can explore, and I can be there for a long time, and it's more affordable. Maybe.
You can have a full-time job in cave dive.
Yeah, I'm an IT consultant. I don't have to dedicate my life to running around researching.
All I'm hearing is that you don't fully commit to your passion.
No, it's I can do them both, you know. I have lots
You
of
get-
friends across the world too. In the
You
UK.
get called to retrieve bodies.
They help me out. What other benefits do I get?
Well, you're in
Thai
cloudy
women might
waters.
like me. Might meet a little lady.
I don't think you need to be a cave diving to that's like how you would get the run away from the Thai ladies, I think.
Speaking of, when I was watching this film, I was thinking I have a note is like how is this like every single obscure hobbyist's dream? I feel like it is, like you're just like a kind of a weirdo, maybe, none of them were athletes or popular, it sounded like, but um, they specialize and were good at this one thing, and then they became like national heroes, it seems like,
Flown out business class.
I don't know what. I mean, they didn't really talk about what makes a super skilled diver. I mean, I understand maybe just
You gotta
nerves
stay
going
calm.
slow,
Yeah.
but I don't know. Is that it? Is there something else I'm missing? Is it going with the waves? Because they're like even the other divers were like that guy. He's the best. Uh, but I don't really know. I don't know enough to know why.
Yeah, they didn't get into like the
The
technicalities
way
of it.
you approach a
I mean, don't you just go down?
hole.
I know I'm minimizing it.
And Patrick wins.
You lose.
Quinn, you ended by minimizing your own passion.
Damn, I really want to be a volcanologist.
Volcanologist. Cool.
I love. That'd be so cool to go to a volcano.
It would be cool. So
It's just
you like
they even in the film, like they did I think they did a decent job of like showing how murky and muddy it is. I mean, if you look up some other videos of like diving and stuff, it's dark. It's a nightmare. It's like, I mean, the guy said it well. Like, why would you do this for fun? I mean, it's
why wouldn't
so
you
dark. The
scuba
visibility
dive?
is so low that
Yeah.
you can't see anything. It's not this beautiful, Bahamas, like, wow, I see everything. I'm in my own world. It's like
So colorful.
fucking water's hitting your face. It's dark and it's
You're
gross.
getting stuck. Yeah.
And
Smells
you
bad.
hit your head everywhere. Yeah.
Hmm.
So I lose.
Volcanologists rule.
Yeah. I don't know. I think like yeah, I mean volcanoes are just so unworldly almost.
Mhm.
They don't seem real. I mean, even watching that, you're like, I want to touch it, like lava looks. I just want to put my foot into it, but
It looks so soft.
yeah, it looks so colorful and yeah. But all right, Pat is a 2-0 for the day.
Damn it.
Speaking of scores, let's jump into the IMDb. Well, we're not doing a report card for this movie again because I'm following Quinn's footsteps because he just does everything perfectly.
Plot. 10 out of 10.
Just like introducing this segment of IMDb,
The
right, Quinn?
the over under, the patented review where we decide whether the true rating of the rescue is over or under the IMDb score.
That yes, exactly that.
Nice.
And
I
this
hit it.
we
I
are
nailed
sitting
it.
at. You nailed it. Sounds like you practiced that once or twice.
In a previous life.
We are sitting at 8.4 out of 10 with 17,250 votes. 8.4.
I'm going under. I didn't look at it actually. I didn't know it was 8.4.
It was pretty high, isn't it?
That is high, and I think it's partly due to, like I said before, the story where it's incredible. I mean, I don't think they're lying about the timeline of like weather events either, where they kind of got lucky with the weather, and then they rescued everybody on like the last day before it like rained for 8 months. I thought it was the story itself is incredible. Actually, I thought of another fun fact real quick that a few of the kids who were stuck in there they weren't even Thai. They were like stateless. So they didn't have any nationality. I don't know how that happens.
Okay.
Probably due to some class poverty thing.
So
Like your
what does
whole
that mean?
dream as a kid. I don't know. They don't have any rights. And like the parents hold, but there's
Jesus
some sort of
Christ.
pathway to citizenship. And that's like their parents' dream is like, I hope one day my kids will be like citizens of a country.
Somalia called. We're moving.
It's not a
but-
high bar.
but they fast tracked them to citizenship after they were rescued. I think a few months later. So
All of them.
all the ones that were stateless, yes, I think 3 or 4 became Thai citizens. So it's a heartwarming.
That's a fun fact.
Yeah,
That's a fun fact.
it's loving. It's great.
It's loving. It's great. It's under 8.4.
It's true. It's like, what does, what would I have? The recreations are nice, and it helps awareness, and it helps you get a better feel of what happened. But I think some of the amazement and awe would be the same as just like reading firsthand accounts of things yourself. So I don't.
Yeah,
I'm under.
I get that. I'm interested in, like, I've read a few stories of mapping caves. Now, this is the first underwater one I heard about, but there's like a lot of stories of people exploring caves and mapping them out and maybe getting stuck, maybe not. But I don't know. I was in a rabbit hole for a while, but it's equally. I agree with you. And the reason why I enjoy reading them. That's like, just as you're like, you're on the edge of your seat, and it's just kind of, I don't know if it's suspense or what, but it has a certain flavor to it, I think, with or without a big documentary being made out of it. Patrick, over under?
Under. I guess my internal rating, dropped throughout the podcast, and I think a large part of that is this. I can't get over this stupid rights, because you're just preventing the best version of the story from coming out.
Yeah.
The best version would be a little bit of everything, At least I think so. It would be really cool to have everyone share their point of view, and the director create like what they want, but have everything available to them to create from. And I don't know. It's a little weird.
Yeah.
But I did think it was a good movie, but it's not. It's probably my least favorite Jimmy Chin.
Really?
Yes.
I don't know many others I've seen by him, so I'll give it another shot. Or I'll check out his other stuff.
Mm-hmm. It's fun. I like the kind of adrenaline-inducing like documentaries that are kind of risky.
Yeah.
And he does a lot of them. Pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go under as well. Not much negative to say about this film. I think it's pretty good, and the story is incredible. Especially, I was not very aware. Remember, maybe I wasn't that involved in the news cycle. Not that I am too much today either. But I didn't know what happened. I knew I think, they were sedated. I didn't know if all of them survived or not, but 2.5 hours underwater is absolutely insane. Like, they're just going. It's crazy. Like, what? I'm surprised they hadn't. There was no option of giving up. They're like, they're in there and they're alive, and we're gonna save them. It wasn't like it's a tragedy. We lost them. There's no way to get them. It was just the adversity to save those kids was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the craziest parts is the international aspect of it, where you have, I mean, it's an Australian doctor administering like anesthesia to kids in your, like, as a country, as a military state or organization. I mean, you're giving up control to like everybody else. And they brought up the fact that if something happens, you're like, well, we gotta think about it.
Prison.
Yeah, how are we gonna like get you the hell out of here immediately if you walk out with a dead body? Like, oh shit, I never thought of that.
Yeah.
No pressure.
That was crazy. They're like, yeah, you'll end up in Thai prison. So they had an emergency evacuation plan. Like, absolutely insane.
It's nuts. I mean,
no
some
good
of these stories, they you don't know if they deserve national attention. I mean, there's all these news stories. 15 minutes of fame, things are in the news, but like this really this probably happened, and you're like, oh, cave, tide, it's whatever. But like, this really deserved the spotlight.
Not the Oscar though.
Nope. Octopus.
Maybe if they had the full rights.
Octopus.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everyone. That's all I had. With that, I'm going to take this torch. I'm going to pass it on to Patrick Manning for our next podcast in not 2 weeks, right? 3 weeks or something.
I think it might actually be 4 or February's vacation month, guys. We need to relax.
It's fun February.
Fun February. So
Yeah, what's everyone doing? Let's keep our viewers
sure.
updated.
I'm going to Puerto Vallarta in a week and a half for 7 or 8 days. I've been there before once, and it will be a luxurious, relaxing vacation of eating and drinking. So not a lot of culture, not a lot of deep culture dives, but
Are you going cave diving?
He might be.
no, I'm gonna try and order some more street tacos and
Dive into those.
yeah, dive into those for sure.
Nice.
But yeah, that's what I'm doing.
What about you, Pat?
I'm going to Jackson, Wyoming, to the Jackson Hole ski mountain. I'm gonna ride up the chairlift and go down the hill a whole bunch of times and have a good time.
Nice. How long are you staying there?
A week in the mid-February.
Wow.
Yeah, so it should be fun. We got 5 days of skiing. Then there's a national park, like the mountains, Grand
Tetons.
Yeah, Tetons. So you can like go snowshoeing up to like hot springs too. So like, after we're sore from skiing, our off day might be snowshoeing up into a hot spring or something.
The snowshoeing up sounds like not relaxing, but then the hot springs will be that much more worth it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Nice.
We got the beach, we got the snow. Grant Farmer, what do you got for us?
Driving to Florida by car.
18 hours.
No, it's to go to Florida though, so it's gonna be nice because we're gonna be there for. I'm gonna be there for 2 out of 3 weeks. I'm gonna go spend a week there, fly out, fly back, drive down, fly back,
drive back.
Yeah,
That's a lot of transportation.
It's in a city called Ocala, which is an hour away from Orlando. It's like horse country, so I'm excited.
Do you have my one question is the road trip? Do you have anything? Is it in and out as soon as possible, or is there any stops?
Yeah, we're stopping in Asheville actually because it's a good halfway point.
Nice.
Yeah.
With the Bronco?
No, Bronco's in the shop.
Killing Mother Earth.
Yeah. No.
Take the other whip.
Well, because then I wouldn't have a car because I'd be flying back.
Oh, makes sense.
Yeah, so we're taking my girlfriend's car because she's staying there the whole time.
Nice.
Because then she wouldn't have a car. I don't, it would, yeah. So
do you have to put 91 in that one?
93.
Oh, 93, I forgot.
It keeps getting higher.
Some gas stations don't have 93.
Yeah, I know. No, I think hers takes 87.
All right, road trip.
All right, road trip. It'll be fun,
Well, should we watch
building that
anything on
playlist.
vacation? What should we do?
I don't know.
If only
Listen
someone
up,
could tell
you.
us.
I'm the director for next one, and I chose. It makes sense. What are we doing? We're leaving. I'm picking Decision to Leave. Have you guys heard of this movie?
No.
Okay. It is a detective investigating a man's death in the mountains meets the dead man's mysterious wife in the course of his dogged sleuthing. I don't know. Thought it sounded interesting. It's a Korean movie. Same director as The Handmaiden and Old Boy. So some clout.
Interesting. It
Yeah.
came out recently.
Yeah, 2022.
I've never heard anything about it.
I've never heard anything about it either. So
It's supposed to be like a kind of like romance mystery kind of thing.
Yeah. It's a detective thing.
Mm.
Romantic
Weird.
mystery film.
where was this? What piece of the societal cog put this in your brain?
I don't know.
Was it from the internet, or were you watching Handmaiden, Old Boy, or something? And you're like,
Snowpiercer.
I'd seen Handmaiden not too long, like a couple of years ago, but
I've never
that was
seen
one
it.
of my favorite. That was so good.
Really?
Yeah, it is so good, so well done.
Handmaiden or Snowpiercer?
Handmaiden, Snowpiercer is fine. So yeah, I don't know. I just saw it came out. I was thinking it was going to be in the Oscars, but it was not. So yeah, I wanted to watch it.
Let's
It
do
was
it.
either this or Puss in Boots too. So
Well,
I guess
which is
I'm
supposed to be
watching
so
that in
good.
Florida.
we still
Yeah.
have time. And sorry.
No, the Shrek franchise just really doesn't miss unless it's Shrek 3 or 4, which I haven't seen, but I heard we're big misses.
Not as good. Maybe we could talk about this on our next episode. But Oscar nominations dropped for Best Picture, which I was like, But maybe we can
last
pick a
year's
couple.
were. I was looking.
Can we vote? Can we take it? I know you're director, but I would like a segment to touch on those.
Okay.
Request, please, director.
When's the actual?
The Oscars will happen.
That will be
March 12th.
All right, we'll at least have one or two in before then.
Probably just one.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I'll put a segment in. Shout out to the Oscars.
Okay. Shout out.
Secret.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining, for watching, for listening. Hopefully you watched the rescue. And if you didn't, I think we would all say it's worth a nice old watch. Just maybe not 8.4 out of 10.
I'd watch it.
Thank you guys. We will see you next month with, what is this called?
Decision to leave.
Decision to leave. Decision to leave.
It's time to leave.
Time to leave. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.